number of the electors appointed to vote for President of the United States is 538. Within that whole number, the majority is 270. The votes for President of the United States are as follows. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes. Kamala D. Harris Kamala D. Harris of the state of California has received 226 votes.
My friend, in the midst of those clapping steals, you are witnessing the first woman of color to certify her own election defeat. That's right. Today is a historic day. This is a first. Another glass ceiling has finally been shattered. The very woman who spent the last 3 years trying to turn J6 into a national day of infamy like 9/11 or December 7th, the woman who told us that J6 was the single most horrific attack on our nation in the history of all mankind. Yeah, that woman was forced to go through one last humiliation ritual, and that was for her to stand up before the entire nation and certify her own resounding defeat on none other than January the 6th itself. What an incredible day, gang. Greetings, everyone. It is live stream Monday night, a very special J6 edition. I am your host, Dr. Steve, your patron professor, here to give you a front row seat in the rise of the new golden age. So make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. As always, what we every Monday night we will be here on YouTube for about 20 minutes or so, and then we're going to cut off. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to our censorship-free exclusive live stream platform. So if you want to join me over there for some sweet fellowship and scholarly discussion, please scan that QR code. Do we have a QR code? No QR code. Yeah, I knew we had a QR code. Awesome. Scan that QR. I'm such an old nerd. I mean, when I first saw that, I grabbed my phone with, yeah, QR code. But that's right. I love them. They're awesome. Scan that QR code or click the link in the description for a very small monthly fee, just a paltry little fee. You can have so much. You can have access to our exclusive Q&As. You get access to our exclusive content, access to our exclusive conversations and meetups. Yeah, I mean, we hang out personally together. You get access to all of our exclusive offers. It's awesome. Just click on that link or scan that wonderful QR code to become a member of our Courageous Conservatives Club, where thousands of us gather each and every week to restore the pillars of faith, family, and freedom as we usher in a new conservative age. You're going to absolutely love being on the front lines of the new golden age that really did, in many ways, begin today. Of course, I'm not just talking about President Trump. We got brothers up in the Great White North. Canada, our dear friends, they have a huge and growing patriot population. They just got a very special Christmas gift for the new year. Check this out.
That I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign as party leader, as prime minister.
I love the guy leaning over, taking the picture, you know. I just love it. You do that with anything you want to celebrate. You always have that meme there. I mean, now keep in mind, it was on our live stream Monday night back in December. I think it was the second week of December, third week of December. I can't remember. Just a few weeks back when we predicted right here on this channel, Trudeau was going to resign and resign very soon. We didn't know when, but we figured it was going to be within the next few weeks. There were reports that his resignation was indeed nigh. And here we are. Here we are. I mean, think about it. Soy boy Trudeau announces his resignation. Kamala has to publicly certify her own defeat. And on top of all that, Donald J. Trump has officially been certified. Yo! as president-elect. This map, this glorious, beautiful, wonderful map. I mean, inject that straight into my veins. This glorious map is now officially certified. And we'll talk about this tomorrow. Did you see what's one of the first official president-elect acts of Donald J. Trump? Did you hear about this? There are reports that Don Trump Jr. is landing in Greenland tomorrow. I kid you not. You can't make this stuff up. Trump just tweeted out just like a half an hour ago, a tweet confirming he is set on getting Greenland. We're going to be talking about this in our video tomorrow. Trump is totally serious about this. He wants the Panama Canal back, and he wants Greenland. He wants Greenland returned to North America under American jurisdiction. And like I talked about during Christmas, our Christmas, one of our Christmas videos during the Christmas week, this is a civilization state talk, gang. When he talks this way, this is civilization state. We're leaving the era of globalism and we're entering into a new era of civilizationalism. And America, a Trumpian America, a MAGA America, is taking its place among the rising civilizations of old. Russian Empire, China, India, Turkey, Pan-Africanism. They're all rising as we speak. I mean, you see all these countries in Africa, on the African continent, the Sahel region, kicking out the last vestiges of French colonialism. And that's exactly what we're starting to see with Greenland. Greenland's, what is it, their prime minister, I forget, mayor, what, governor, I'll have all the facts for you tomorrow, but he or she's coming out and saying, we're kind of tired living under Denmark colonialism. We want our independence and we want to join up with the USA. I mean, this is amazing. This goes beyond anything. I remember getting asked questions by you guys a couple of years back. Do you think America could become a civilization state? And back then I said, I just don't see it. I don't see how we could. I don't know if we have the roots for it. I don't know if we've got frankly, the energy for it. I don't think we have the dynamism for it. Civilization states are rising, and everywhere you saw in America, we were kind of falling, and we were just trying to hunker down and survive. And here we are. I mean, it's more astonishing than anything I could have imagined. Everyone tells me I'm overly optimistic. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Now, what makes this day especially sweet is the fact that the left-wing lunatics look so totally and completely defeated. Seriously, gang. Seriously. I'm talking crushed, vanquished. They look like they're in the seventh circle of hell right now. Here is the utterly repulsive Joe Scarborough today. Now, remember, Scarborough, MSNBC Scarborough, this is the guy who told us we were looking at the best Biden ever. This is a gaslighter par excellence. Do you remember that? Right before the debate. This is the best Biden, cogent. He's cogent. If there were one word to summarize his, he's beyond cogent. Do you remember that? I got to see that again. Josh, our moderator, our producer, can you run that for us? Do you have that clip?
But comparing that guy's mental state, I've said it for years now. He's cogent. But I undersold him when I said he was cogent. He's far beyond cogent. In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been. Intellectually, analytically, because he's been around for 50 years. And, I don't know if people know this or not. Biden used to be a hothead. Sometimes that Irishman would get in front of the reasoning. Sometimes he would say things he didn't want to say. This is, and I don't really, I don't really care. Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years. The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it. And you.
Oh, God. I'm sorry. I'm literally crying here. I mean, you have to laugh because what do you say to that? What? I mean, well, here's Joe Scarborough today.
This remains an evenly divided country, and no one, to paraphrase William F. Buckley, no one is held hostage to the results of the last election other than what the Constitution tells us. And so we are still a divided nation. And yes, Donald Trump won despite January 6th, but that half the nation was okay with that, half the nation not okay with that. The debate continues in full.
I mean, you know what's so sad in all of that? And I'm being honest here, even as my stomach is cramping from my laughing so hard. What's so astonishing to me is that this guy, Scarborough, is so full of himself. He is so self-indulgent that he cannot even fathom the realization that no one on earth gives a rip about what he has to say anymore. Literally no one is giving him the time of day anymore. He is so narcissistic. He cannot see how his career has been completely destroyed. He can't see how miserably he eviscerated his own credibility day in and day out leading up to this election with all of his ridiculous woke rants. I mean, in many ways, I got to say, it's sad. He's just a sad, pathetic, pandering clown. And it's not just Scarborough whining today. Take a look at this headline here from Salon.com, the ultra-left wing site, Salon.com. I read it daily so you don't have to. This was their headline today. Donald Trump has turned J6 into a triumph. Talk about admitting defeat. Donald Trump has turned J6 into a triumph. They went farther than Scarborough. They actually admitted that J6, the day that was supposed to seal once and for all Trump's permanent political defeat. That's what the entire media establishment was saying in the months that followed J6. In February, March, April of 2021, they were all saying, that's it, Trump is done. The MAGA movement is done. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants anything. Nobody's returning his calls. He's completely isolated. That's all we heard. Trumpism is dead. Maybe Liz Cheney will take over the party. Yeah, that'll be great. That's all we heard. Well, this Salon.com article is now recognizing, to their horror, that J6 is actually the day of Trump's unprecedented and unrivaled victory. Now, I must say again, at the risk of sounding a little narcissistic on my part, but I've been saying that a long time now. Ever since I first made the argument that Trump won J6 back in 2022, when Kamala was busy trying to turn the day into a national day of mourning, likening J6 to 9/11. But I made the argument back then that J6 actually made Trump stronger. Now, you may not remember this, but shortly after Senator Lindsey Graham threw Trump under the bus after J6, remember that? I'm done. I'm done with this whole MAGA movement. Do you remember that? He said that on J6. This is what Lindsey Graham faced at Reagan National Airport. Check this out.
So we are in the airport with Lindsey Graham here, guys. He's being called a traitor. Guys, you are a traitor, Lindsey Graham. A traitor.
And you take an oath? Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you pissed on that oath.
You're going to uphold the Constitution? American people are accounting for your actions. You're going to uphold the Constitution? Please make a statement. Or you're going to financially line the You are accounting for the people. Make a statement to the people. Why are you a traitor?
He is being escorted out of the airport right now, or at least out of here. Welcome to the new America, Lindsey.
Keep going back.
This is the rest of your life, Lindsey. This is the rest.
Welcome to the new America, Lindsey. Did you hear that? Welcome to the new America. What is that new America? Well, one of the most important developments that's been happening, especially over the last 4 years, is this process that scholars call delegitimization. It's where a clear majority of Americans have lost confidence and trust in our nation's public institutions, and particularly our nation's public leaders. It's actually been happening for decades, since the end of the Cold War back in the early 90s when the Soviet Union fell. The Soviet Union fell back in December of 1991, and the Cold War came to an end. And in many respects, this is when globalism was just really taking off. The unipolar world was forming. Francis Fukuyama was talking about the end of history and how liberal democracy and globalism were going to reign supreme as far as the eye could see, and so on and so forth. But at the same time, Sam Huntington of Harvard University in his Clash of Civilizations was actually arguing, no, with the fall of the Soviet Union, we're seeing the fall of ideology itself. And populations, a one-size-fits-all ideology for the world. And populations were more and more returning back to nation, culture, custom, and tradition as the way forward. So it's not a coincidence that shortly after 1991, we began to see the rise of anti-globalist populist movements and challengers making their way into our politics, despite the prognostications of people like Frank Fukuyama. So just think of Pat Buchanan's challenge to George Herbert Walker Bush for the Republican presidential nomination back in 92. And then think about the 20% of the vote that Ross Perot later got in that very same election. Even the Democrat, Bill Clinton, was running as a Southern populist, right? This new Democrat. And then we saw the Gingrich revolution in Congress 2 years afterwards that was all about scaling back and rolling back government. This delegitimization became incredibly pervasive until about 9/11. And it stalled in 9/11 because that's when Americans began to rally around their government in a time of crisis. But then what happened? It looked like that very government lied to us about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. And then we got the disappointing 8 years of the Obama era. And more Americans than ever, saw the way globalism just ravaged our national sovereignty and our economy, particularly for rural populations. We saw nothing less, really, than a full-blown crisis of legitimacy come to the fore, and it ultimately propelled the first President Trump victory in 2016. Because that was his entire campaign, harnessing this sense of delegitimacy that comes not from Trump, but comes from the inherent futilities of the globalist system itself. That's what a lot of liberals like Scarborough and the people over at salon.com just simply don't understand. It's not Trump and the MAGA movement that are just a bunch of monsters that come out of nowhere, interrupting a perfectly pristine globalist system. The globalist system itself is rigged. That's what Trump was saying, and people believed it because they had already felt it. The whole system, the economic system, the political system, the politicians, the lobbyists, the big business, it's all rigged against you. Our borders are wide open because Republicans want cheap labor and Democrats want guaranteed votes. Our jobs are shipped overseas and our industrial cities have been turned into ghost towns also that transnational corporations can maximize their profits. Your wages have been deliberately kept stagnant for decades, all the while CEO wages have increased 300%. And rather than honor and celebrate and protect our unique and inspiring and incredibly triumphant culture, our elites denigrate it. And they make our children feel ashamed of our nation and our cultural history. All so that the power and ingenuity of the American people, rooted in the pride of American nationalism, will never get in the way of the accumulated power and influence in the hands of the very, very elite few. That was Trump's message in 2016. And what did he say? Elect me, because I'm one of them. I played their game. I signed checks for them. I signed checks for both parties. I played the game. I bought them. I know how the system is rigged. But guess what? They can't buy me. Elect me, and I'll change all of it. I'll close the borders. I'll start mass deportations. I'll bring manufacturing industrial jobs back home. I'll make corporations hire American again. And we'll all proudly say, remember, we'll proudly say a Merry Christmas as we celebrate our unique Christian heritage and our unique American culture. Elect me and I will make America great again. We have to understand that is the language of delegitimacy. What Trump has been saying over these How's that? That's one of our first major catastrophes on air. We just had a major fuse blowout in our studio here. We got back on, but we lost both electricity and internet. It was crazy. Our producer Josh was calling me like, "What's happening? What's going on?" So good work, Josh. We'll be right back. Awesome. We are back. Oh, I was on fire too. Where was I? I was talking about the language of delegitimacy. And this is what this is what liberals have such a hard time wrapping their heads around for why Trump won J6. Our nation's public institutions are broken. Trump simply pointed out what tens of millions of people already believed: our public institutions are rigged. They've been taken over by elites who are ruling for their own benefit and profits at your expense. In fact, it's worse. They hate you. They despise you. And note what happened after January 6th. We saw the Washington establishment put together an illegitimate committee where every single member had previously voted to impeach President Trump. That was one of the qualifications for getting on the committee. You had to have voted to impeach him. That committee subsequently hid and withheld evidence. Their co-chair, Liz Cheney, who just got the Presidential Medal of Freedom, tampered with witnesses to get them to change their testimony. And we were expected by elites like Scarborough to believe that this sham kangaroo committee was legitimate. But here's the irony. What did that sham kangaroo committee end up doing instead? All that committee ended up doing was validating Trump's claims that everything Washington does is rigged. It only ended up further delegitimizing the whole DC establishment. And that's why, after everything that the whole of that Washington establishment, including Rhino Republicans, after everything the political establishment and the legacy media establishment threw at Trump and the MAGA movement after J6, after jailing hundreds upon hundreds of protesters and MAGA faithful, including Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro, after year after year after year, deliberately trying to turn J6 into an official day of mourning like 9/11 or December the 7th, Pearl Harbor Day, after all that, on this, the 4th anniversary of J6, the Democrats, the Rhino Republicans, and the legacy media were all forced to witness the one and only Donald J. Trump officially certified as president-elect of these United States. I mean, you could not possibly script this better. Reality is the best drama. And that's because this is a new America. It is a populist America, a civilizationalist populist America, where the people are rising up to take their nation back out of the hands of a corrupt political oligarchy and corporate elite. And Donald Trump, along with Elon and RFK and Tulsi and Cash and, of course, JD, they are all the Avengers who are taking our nation back out of the hands of a corrupt elite. That is why Trump has won. And that is how Trump ultimately turned J6 into an uncontested, astounding and colossal triumph. Over to you, over to you. All right, we're back. It's time for you to tell me what you think. Remember, we've got our live Q&A these Monday nights on our own private, exclusive, censorship-free virtual platform, which you can join by clicking on the link below. You have wonderful fellowship with thousands of your fellow patriots from all over the world, as well as get all kinds of exclusive benefits like having the chance for us to meet up in person. So just click on that link below or scan that QR code, even better. Join our Courageous Conservative Club, and you can be part of our live, private, exclusive backstage Q&A tonight, asking me whatever questions that you like. Actually, before we go off to our private platform, Josh, why don't we have a couple of questions here before we move on? Do you have any questions lined up? Good. Yes, you didn't experience a major electrical malfunction over there. Gator, Happy New Year, Dr. Steve. How can Trump's sentencing affect the 20th and beyond? That's a great question. I don't think it will. I think Judge Merchan has made it clear Trump is not going to be he, as I understand it, he is simply, I don't think he is going to penalize him in any way. There's obviously going to be no prison time. When asked why he just didn't throw the whole thing out, Merchan said he wanted to give Trump the opportunity to appeal it. Fine. To appeal the whole process that he went through. I personally think they just want to be able to call him officially a convicted felon. He doesn't care. This is, again, these are all just the tired antics of a dying regime. But I don't think it's going to affect anything on the 20th. Nothing at all whatsoever. Literally none. Other than maybe Merchan may want to have an extended vacation. Because he might get investigated. We'll see. I don't know. Just a sense. Just a sense I have. How about another one, Josh? What do we got? Charles, why are people up in arms over Biden's EO to ban oil and gas when all Trump's got to do is reverse these EOs? I said the same thing, Charles. I said the same thing. Everyone's like, what's he doing? Biden is going scorched earth. It's an EO. EOs can be reversed unless they're cleverly done the way Musk and Vivek want to do them. We could talk about that behind the scenes here. Looks to me as if Biden is burning it down prior to leaving office, and that's it. He is. That's what he's doing. He's doing everything he can. He's doing the scorched earth. But it's nothing that Trump and his massive fire engine and hose isn't going to be able to put out very, very quickly on day one. He's already said he's going to rescind the EO within minutes of being sworn in. It means nothing at all. It's just a last-ditch effort to make some headlines, to appease some liberal constituencies who right now feel very, very vanquished. One more, and then we'll move on over. Dr. Turley, Sonny Hostin, borderline illiterate. I think you meant to put that first. Sonny Hostin said J6 was worse than the Holocaust. Why is the Orwellian media so bent on gaining false sympathy for narratives yet keep failing? Will they ever learn? That's a great question. And there's a good answer. I'm going to use that. There is a very important question as to why they engage, and there's a very important answer as to why they engage in precisely this kind of rhetoric. And that's what we're going to answer on the other side. So come on. Give us that QR code. Where is that QR code? Where is it? Come on. There it is. Go click on that link below or scan that QR code. Join our Courageous Conservatives Club. And then come on over to our censorship-free virtual platform. Hang out with thousands of patriots from all over the world. Ask me all your questions. You guys get to comment and chat and everything. You're going to love it. So come on over. I'm going to answer that question on the other side off platform. God bless you guys. Come on, join us, and we'll see you there in about 30 seconds.